Good morning. My name's Clyde Fenton. I'm with the Sebastian County Cooperative Extension, part of the University of Arkansas Divisions of Agriculture. This morning, I want to continue with something I started a few weeks ago. I had promised you that I would show you a video on planting asparagus. Now, since I promised that, there have been some agents that have put out some excellent videos on planting asparagus. I'm going to follow through because I said I'd do that, but we're going to talk about some other aspects of asparagus as well. You know, one of the things a lot of folks don't realize about asparagus is you have male and female plants. This field here is a variety called Jersey Night, and it was planted in all male plants. Now, if you have female plants in your mix, you end up with a smaller spear of asparagus, and you also have seed that spreads, and so you end up with asparagus everywhere. With male plants, primarily your asparagus stays in the rows, but over time it does travel a little bit because the root systems are reaching out. So we're going to dig some edges this morning to get some crowns to show you how to properly plant an asparagus plant. All right, this is where we're going to dig up a crown or two this morning, at least to begin with. You see, we've got kind of a medium-sized asparagus spear coming up there, and we're going to sacrifice that because we know down under there is a root. But we're going to dig it up. I'm going to kind of go backwards on this whole thing with asparagus and show you. This field's been here for 10 years, but some of the plants have kind of crawled out from the other, even though they were all male plants. So let's see what we find. All right, guys, I want to show you what I've dug. Now, I ended up digging 2 holes. The first one I dug, this is what I got. And, you know, there's a root system there. You can actually see on the side of that, those little pointy things. Those are spears that would have come up sometime in the next few weeks. We're going to go ahead and plant that, leaving the top on it, so that we can show you over the next several weeks how that they go ahead and make ferns, and that's how they resupply the roots with the energy to grow again next year. I don't know if I've got enough root system left on that one or not, so I dug another hole, and it was much more productive. You see, I've got a little chunk there, and these roots were all connected. Everything I got here was from one hole, so you can see how it's kind of gotten crowded over time. Now, when you buy crowns, typically they've been started from seed and they've been nurtured for a year or two, and you get 1 or 2 year old crowns, and then you wait 2 years before you actually start enjoying the asparagus because you want to get it established. All right, I just wanted to show you my initial step. I just took the sod out. Now I'm going to dig this trench down. I'm going to square up the walls and go down probably 8 to 10 inches. And I'm going to put the loose dirt on the other side of the hole, but I just rolled the sod out, which is going to take the weeds close to where the crowns come up mostly away, but I will get a lot of that dirt out of that sod before I'm finished. All right, I've got my trench ready to go. We're going to set our crowns down in there. You see, I've got the loose dirt on one side and the sod on the other. I ended up digging through my topsoil, and you can see the subsoil. It starts to turn, there's a little bit of clay in it. Not too bad. I've got kind of a sandy mix here. We've got a nice sand loam here. But we're going to stick our crowns in, and I'll show you what next. All right, I've got my asparagus set in the ground there. Now, like I said, you're not typically, when you buy crowns, you're not going to have spears sticking up. But for illustration purpose, this will be very interesting to see what happens. Now, the other thing I would say is I have really probably crowded this hole a little bit, but I don't know if all these roots are going to make it, because basically I took one extended root and cut it into a number of crowns. So, you know, this is sort of experimental, but as far as the method goes, this is how old-timers would do asparagus. They would do a trench 6 or 8 inches deep. What we're going to do next is we're going to put in 2 or 3 inches dirt, just enough to cover the crown. And we're going to come back in 3 or 4 days or a week, and we're going to add 2 or 3 more inches. We're going to let some crowns hopefully push up through that soil, and we're just going to keep filling it as it grows up until we've reached the top of the trench. But this is how it was done for years, and there's nothing wrong with this method. When you're doing it on a large scale, it certainly is easier to plow a field and work it loose and, you know, dig trenches that are different than this. But this is a way that it can be done if you want a little asparagus patch in the corner of your lawn or something. The sod can be taken out, asparagus can be planted and enjoyed for years to come. What's nice is the roots are below the roots of the grasses, and so, you know, where they don't like to compete, they will compete because their roots are at a different level. It's one of the reasons I started growing asparagus myself. It was a crop that could be lower maintenance for me, and it was perennial. It comes back year after year after year. All right, this is our final view for today. You see, I've still got about 6 inches to go to get that trench filled, but we're just going to let those crowns get established and grow a little bit, and then we're going to come back and add some more in a few days to a week. But we've left those spears there, which, like I said, is somewhat unconventional, but we can watch them fern as we put this together.